sure can. So we're going to call together the meeting of the Sandy Drainage Improvement Board of Directors will come to order. Emily, we recording this?
Yes.
And just to remind you, we have an audio recording. Just for roll call, Tom Hansel is present. Mr. Stephenson?
Kenny Stephenson present.
Mr. Anderton?
Kenny Anderton present.
Excellent. We have a quorum. So this is a follow-up to, this is on the 701 report. Is that right, Sunny?
Yes.
So Ken, your absence last Thursday this is just to help move that along. So Kenny and I were, this be a repeat for us. Take it away, Sunny.
Great. Yeah. And so what we went over last week was that we're in the feasibility study to identify projects for the levee modernization with the Corps of Engineers. And the end goal for that study is that we would eventually get 65% federal cost share for all those projects identified. So that's why we're working on this right now. So this kind of the 3 steps to get that 65% cost share is first the feasibility study, which is what we're in right now. And that is determining what the projects are and if there is federal interest in it based on the benefit cost ratio of the projects and the life safety evaluation of them. So we expect to complete the feasibility study in October of 2021, and we're on track and it's going well. The next step is the pre-engineering design. And that's where the Corps of Engineers takes the design of all the projects from the feasibility study at a 35% design to 100% design. And that takes usually about 2 to 3 years of work to do that. And then once we complete that work, then we would start trying to get authorization for construction for these modernization projects. And that would be where we get the 65% federal cost share. And so next slide, please. So with that, there's this option for us to submit our names into this 7001 annual report. And what this report does is it creates an awareness. It's kind of like a public relations strategy for the decision makers up at Washington, D.C. to let them know that the project is still going well and we're moving ahead. And that, sorry, my dog's like jumping on me. She's like ready for dinner, I think already. Yeah, it basically just creates this awareness for our congressional delegations, for the Assistant Secretary of the Army, and the Office of Management and Budget. So what is the 7001 annual report? It was created by Congress in 2014 in the Water Resources Development Act, which is the act that really oversees the Corps of Engineers. And the reason they did that is because if you'll remember that in 2011, earmarks went away. So Congress can no longer pick and choose the projects that are funded within the Corps of Engineers, and the Corps gets to pick and choose their projects with some guidance from Office of Management and Budget and Assistant Secretary of the Army. And so Congress wanted to create a way, an official way to hear from the community about what projects they would like them to do. So they created this 7001 report back then in 2014. And 7001 just refers to the section it was in the bill. And so what we are proposing is that we would like to submit an application to be included in this report just to create that awareness for our delegation and all the decision makers at headquarters that we're moving full steam ahead on our project and want to move to that next stage. And so how we get in this report is that we'd actually submit our application today. It's due. And if you would go to the next slide. And then within the application, what it is a statement of support and from us saying that we do want to move to PED. And then finally, or in addition, it'll also talk about what the purpose is and why the Corps should move forward on this project. We would talk about in our application the benefits of the project, and then finally the ability and willingness to cost share if we move on to these next stages. So the good thing, the pros of this is that there is no financial or resource obligation at this time once we submit to the report. That'll come later once we actually get in the work plan and receive authorization to do this work. And it's a fairly light resource lift for us to do this application, and just has a lot of upsides to do that. So with that out there, Ken, do you have any questions, or Tanny or Tom, based on today's discussion?
Yeah, I appreciate you guys looking out for these opportunities. I think if you look at, I think where the U.S. is headed, depending on, you know, what happens with our economy moving forward, I think you'll see a lot more infrastructure funding bills. And so I think this is also a way that Congress can get a hold of what is out there. So this makes perfect sense for you guys to get it out there. And it, having worked on some EDA grants this last couple of months, it's imperative to have this relationship with the feds and the projects well laid out that they can understand and pick from. It's a stimulus situation as well. So I have no questions.
Okay, great. How about Tanny or Tom? Any other additional questions?
Nothing from me, Sunny.
Okay.
None from me, thanks.
Okay. And then, so with that, if you guys are supportive, it sounds like, of us submitting in this report, we'd ask for one of the board members to make a motion that's showing the language is shown up on the screen. Thanks, Emily. And we would pass it, and then we would submit it after this meeting.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Mr. Stephenson.
I would move that we authorize the executive director to submit to the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers a summary proposal for the inclusion in the Corps Section 7001 report to raise congressional awareness for federal funding needed for the design and ultimate construction of the modernized in the Portland Metro Levy system as identified in the final feasibility study.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Let's go ahead and do a roll call vote. Is there any additional discussion? Hearing none, let's go ahead and do a roll call vote. Ken Anderton,
Aye.
Annie Stephenson,
Aye.
Don Hansel's and I. The motion passes 3-0. So Sunny, Emily, thanks for putting this together. This worked out well. Sorry for the distraction.
And no, sorry I couldn't attend the format meeting. But this worked out well. Thanks for accommodating my schedule.
Sounds like you have a new home or moved in somewhere else?
Yeah, I bought a brand new house, not brand new. I bought a house in Lake Oswego. Trying to get my daughter into Lake Ridge Junior High and then Lake Ridge High School. So I took possession of it about a week ago, and I've had to paint a few rooms, and then I was trying to move in so I could accommodate people moving into my house Sunday.
Nice. Well, congratulations.
Yeah, thanks.
So any other business that we need to cover? So I will announce I will be absent at the September 17th meeting, so we will not have a quorum. Emily, is there any, will we have to have a follow-up for that, or is there pressing matters?
Let's see what we have lined up for that meeting. I think Peggy, you'd have to, I think that we're going over more feasibility study discussion at that meeting. I don't believe there's any action items that I know of, at least yet, but we can plan around that if we need to, if something.
Okay. So
At this point, it's strictly for the Corps of Engineers presentation.
good. So Tammy, Ken, I will ask you if you're aware of any property owners, representatives within the district boundaries that we should approach to try to build us up from 3 to 4, and we actually got capacity for 5. you both know the pleasure of serving in these roles. So why not, pass that fun on to some other citizen?
Yeah,
And I'm thinking you probably have a pretty good network of folks out there. So if you
Yeah.
know somebody, I'd be
I've
glad to
tried-
talk to them. You're welcome to talk to them.
I've tried in the past to get FedEx and Pacificor. I talked to Annette Price, is their senior Pacificor senior public affairs manager, and I'll keep trying. It'd be good to get FedEx and Amazon. Would be nice to get one of the two on, because they're the largest employers in the district area. So I'll see what I can do.
And if
Like
there's
that.
anything I can provide assistance on, please let me know.
Another one could be Bonneville Power Administration too. If they could shake somebody loose, I can try them as well.
And who knows, video conferencing may be a lasting service for these district meetings. Who knows? I know, Emily, you've made great strides in bringing the technology into the organization there. So, but here we all are, I think, probably at home right now. I don't think anybody's at the office. So
It does allow to sneak in quick meetings, so you don't have the travel time. So I think that's part of the issue of some of these companies, is that some are working remotely, or some can't get away from the operation, or could get away for a half hour but can't get away for an hour and a half. So that's something to think of.
And Peggy, that might be a discussion for format, moving on. Even if we get a clearance, do we sustain video conferencing for these meetings?
Yeah,
I
and we
think-
have that system, and so I think it's always an option for
Yeah.
members.
Yeah.
I think in many ways it's a great option, because I know that most of you have other jobs, you're busy, and trying even the travel time of a half hour to and a half hour from is time that you just don't have. So I think that's something that is likely to be carried into the future.
Yep. So Emily, we'll be working on building our group up. So 4, hopefully 5.
Yeah, I'll see. I was going to ask that question. It would be nice to get somebody else in case one of us is on vacation or sick or not. But yeah, I'll as soon as I get my home office put together, which I now have a dedicated home office. When I finish painting it and getting all my desks assembled, I can be a little more organized and focus on this.
Emily or Peggy, is there maybe a one-pager that you might give us that we can kind of help sell the role?
I think
Kind of what the duties.
Yes, I think that is critical, because I think it's only fair when I've recruited people in the past, or I have been recruited. You kind of want to know what your duties, responsibilities, what your commitment of time and energy and expectations are. So if we don't have it, we will make sure we have something put together.
Yeah, and we have.
I know Emily gave me a nice packet a while ago. I'm not sure that, I think it's at my office I haven't been to at the port. So if we could get electronically, that'd be great.
Yes. Yeah, and I can help with anything else. Like I have an abbreviated one pager, but then if you want me to walk through kind of like that more full stuff, I'm available for that if anyone meets anyone that is interested.
Please send me a copy, Emily. That'd be great.
Yeah, me as well, please.
So any other business? Ken, Tanny?
No.
No, I just hope you guys are all well.
Yep, enjoying summer.
Good.
So
Me
let's
too,
go
Elsie.
ahead and adjourn this meeting here today. Have a lovely afternoon.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. See